I've never. That's what. Have you? I think we're going to go to Florence for a few days and then the weekend. And then to Paris. Yeah. You know, my friend Stacy, so she's been my lesson. She's been equal, even though she's married and she's in the United States. So we're gonna travel. Yeah, I'm really excited. That's right.
Because the priests do not interact with
I've never been to Paris either.
There are 5 or 6 major the concept of one day.
Well, they've said that
But they almost I mean, like half the Feldman is Jerusalem real estate law, and about a third of what's left is.
One of my girls that I dance with, she loves.
Well, they're the priests.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, anybody whose name's Cohen is specifically not all things. You know, they're when they came through.
And they had like
But the story was
my mom and
what's your name? Write it down.
And Marty did this with ceremony. Yeah, and so then they'll take that
Turn off your cell phones for the service. Land that I will show you. If to a place you do not know, Lechila, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. And I shall make your name great. Lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechila, to the place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lechila.
I'm going to invite the family at this time to find the ribbon that represents your broken heart at this time. and repeat the words after me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Dayan ha'emet. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, judge of truth. You can go ahead and rip the ribbon as we say, Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mivarach. Adonai gives and Adonai takes. Blessed is the name of Adonai.
I want to thank everyone for being here and welcome. I'm Rabbi Sarah Shulman, one of the rabbis at the Hebrew Educational Alliance, and I want to thank Rabbi Dahlin, Eitan Cantor, and Cantor Marty Goldstein for joining us today, and all of you. It's a real testament to who Honey was that so many people are here because she showed up for all of us in her way. And so today we show up for her. We show up for Yetta and Isaac and David and Marcus and her cousins and nephews and nieces and all of us. But most importantly, we show up for her today as we bring Honey to her final resting home. And now we'll invite up Cantor Marty Goldstein to chant Psalm 23.
You know, growing up in Brooklyn, there were 50,000 Goldsteins in the white pages. So it wasn't a family like it is here. Because when I got here 33 years ago already, I met Honey through my family and found out that she was related to pretty much everyone in Denver, like you all are. But that also gets you to know someone in a way that you wouldn't in a place like Brooklyn. And Honey was not just a congregant, not just a figure in the Jewish community, but she was a friend, and sure Rabbi Dahl feels the same way. She was our buddy, and often had great insight into things that I needed help with. And she had her own struggles, but she could always help you, and a beautiful smile. And she loved coming to shul. אשת חיים ממצוא רחוק בפנינים מכרה פתח בלב שלח לא יחסר מזמור לדוד אדוני רואי לא אחסר בנוטה שירביצני על מי מנוחות ינעלני נפשי ישובב ינחני ומגלה צדק אוי למען שמו גם כי אלך בגץ על מוות לא אירא רע כי אתה עמדי שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני תערוך לפני שולחן נגד סורר תשענת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה אך טוב החסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי ושמתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I want to extend my condolences to Honey's family, David and Marcus and Isaac and Yetta and the extended family. I've known Honey and the family for 30 years, since our coming to Denver. And I can say she had as sweet and as kind a presence then as she had to her dying day. I never saw her frown. I never heard her speak ill of a single person, and I spoke with her hundreds of times. She was a Jewish leader. She led the sisterhood for years, played a central role on the inclusion committee, was as fine a member of our synagogue as one could find anywhere else. She lived and breathed Judaism. It was her highest love, except of course for her family and her many, many friends. She was a fierce advocate for her children and family, and a fierce advocate for the entire Jewish community. You will hear today and at the Shiva, I'm sure, high praises for this fine lady, and you can rest assured she earned every praise and then some. It will take a long time to feel right in a world without Honey in it. She will be remembered with great love and respect. May her memory always be as a blessing.
Thank you, Rabbi Don. The rabbinic sage Hillel famously said, as recorded in Pirkei Avot 1:14, "In aim anili nili, ukasha ani la'atzmi ma ani, ve'im lo akshav ematai." If I am not for myself, who will be for me? And when I am for myself alone, what am I? And if not now, when? What a person does for oneself dies with them, but what a person does for others and her community lives on forever. Honey Wedgel Gesundheit was always there for others, for her family, for her beloved sisterhood and friends, and for our Jewish community. She was selfless, kind, and giving. She was funny, spiritual, and loving. Honey was born July 17th, 1952 at Rose Hospital in Denver. Her parents, Grace and Isidore, wanted to name her Honey, but a nurse at the hospital convinced them not to. So her birth certificate bore the first name Harriet, a name she never used and never much liked. She was, after all, such a honey to us and as sweet as honey. Young Honey grew up on the West Side with her older siblings, Yetta and Norman, of blessed memory. Her father was a businessman. He sold furniture, he ran a pawn shop, he sold sanitation equipment, and her mother, Grace, supported her husband as a secretary, bookkeeper, and caregiver. Grace would even have the kids all crawl into the huge bed in the back of the truck and drive them around, something you could only do back then. Honey grew up at the Alliance. and the Jewish community was always an integral part of her life, as her grandparents, Bessie and Ellis Wedgell, were among the founding members of HEA. She was active in BBG and the Talmud Torah religious school at the Alliance. She attended Colfax Elementary on the West Side, and she even stayed in touch with her kindergarten friends throughout her life, several of whom are even here today. She spent her afternoons with her cousin Rick and his family. Rick recalled that Honey was a strong-willed child, even while she was so kind and extremely smart. Eventually, Honey's family moved to the East Side, and she attended high school at George Washington. As she grew into adulthood, Honey worked as a call diagnostician for mental health and social services for Arapahoe County and in special education before pursuing a doctoral degree in psychology. In August of 1991, at the age of 38, Honey met David, the love of her life, at a singles group. David recalls that Rabbi Goldberger was so pleased that they had met. David admired Honey's strong ties to her Jewish heritage and appreciated her steady companionship. David and Honey were married June 14th, 1992. They didn't know if they would ever be able to have a child. Instead, God blessed them with two, Marcus and Isaac, the center of Honey's world. Honey loved to spoil her sons with the little things in life, knickknacks and things that would brighten their days, Legos, dolls, her famous borscht, and Granny's chicken soup. She took care of Marcus and Isaac so thoughtfully, even driving extra cautiously, inching up to each stoplight with her precious cargo in tow. The only time Isaac remembers her speeding was when it was color war at Denver Jewish Day School, one of the holiest days of the year, and he needed dry ice. Honey rushed to get it for her son, of course. Isaac shared with me that from his mommy, he learned the importance of connecting and caring for others. And Marcus emphasized how selfless his mother was, how she would give whatever she could to an evicted family she encountered, or buy one of each and every type of bagel in the store to feed a homeless person because she didn't know which flavor was his favorite. Our community was so profoundly impacted by Honey's generosity of spirit. She was the face of our sisterhood to many, serving as its treasurer and friend, compiling Cookorama cookbooks, baking so many Hamantaschen that David insisted she was running Hamantaschen University, and so much more. Honey was a hands-on helper, the kind of person who simply did what needed to be done. As Hillel said, if not now, when? And we all benefited from the work of her hands and the work of her heart. Honey loved the holidays and would always enjoy hosting Rosh Hashanah dinners and Seder at home. She made sure her brother Norman could attend even in a wheelchair, going out of her way to add accessibility features to her home for him. And when she couldn't take David and the kids to Granny's house for Shabbat dinner, she packed up a special meal and brought it to Shalom Park to share with her mother. She always kept track of her family, treating her distant cousins like first cousins. She would organize the Shiva meals for her family and was consistently there for everyone, however she could be. When it wasn't the holidays, Honey enjoyed watching football with David. She would scream for the Broncos at the television while he supported the Dolphins. David fondly remembers these times together and eating out and family vacations in the springs When the kids visited the North Pole one year in Colorado Springs, Marcus proudly told Santa, "Oh, but you see, we're Jewish." Honey also had a great sense of humor. One time when the family was attending a neighbor's funeral that took place in a church, she said, just loudly enough during a particularly well-organized, orderly communion, "Oh, this would never work at the Alliance." And her family lost themselves in giggles. Many eulogies speak of devotion to family. Precious few speak of those who actually build Jewish community. All Jews derive benefit from strong Jewish communities. Precious few Jews, like Honey, assume responsibility for creating that strong Jewish community that so many rely upon. Honey heard with her heart the precious call as received by Abraham and Sarah, as Eitan sang earlier, Lechi Lach, go from your home, go from serving merely your own flesh and blood and serve your community. Honey devoted herself to the blooming promises of Jewish life beyond her own years, and we are forever grateful for her gifts. The last couple of months have been very tough for Honey and her family as she floated in and out of the hospital with multiple health concerns. And all the while, she felt so blessed to have David and her sons and her community caring for her, feeding her and loving her, helping her to fulfill the words of Hillel, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? Isaac brought in baklava from Dearborn. Marcus brought kichel from the deli. They were committed to trying to get her to eat and take care of herself, just as she had always been there for them. I will always remember lighting Shabbat candles with Honey at Rose Hospital, the way her face lit up when she did the blessings, and when I sang Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach to her. David, you were right there. You were always there, just as she had been there for you always, and just as she will always be with you in her own way. Even in the final months of her life, Honey was full of life, even as she was in pain. When I visited her in the hospital, she told me how much she loved spending time with her family and community. Honey had a unique passion for caring for others in her own purple, thoughtful way. May Honey's memory and the light she brought into the lives of others through her words and deeds be a source of eternal blessing to her family, David, Marcus, Isaac, Yetta, and all her nieces, nephews, and cousins, and to all who loved her. May she now rest in peace. May God bring comfort to those who mourn, and let us say, Amen. It's now my honor to welcome up her sister Yetta to share a few words.
I got back from Korea yesterday. Some of my words that I prepared a repetition of others that have been said, but for Honey, I think it bears repeating. For my sister, Honey, devotion to family was paramount in her life. Carrying on the traditions of Judaism was also very important. The two went hand in hand as she continued the practice of our mother in getting the close family together for each holiday dinner and break the fast after Yom Kippur. Honey was a devoted, active member of the Alliance, as you know, serving on the board, the sisterhood, and the cookbook committee. She was a tireless advocate for our brother Norm, whose multiple sclerosis limited his life. She knew many people in Denver and all of their relationships. You know, this one's brother was that one's brother-in-law's sister. David, it's not possible to thank David for his devotion. He was with Honey day and night and did whatever he could for her. He told me once, you know, I would go to the end of the earth for her if I could help her. I'd like to thank all the rabbis, cantors, and staff of the Alliance, thank our medical team, the staff at Crestmore and Rose Hospital for their efforts to help her recover. Unfortunately, it was not possible. We spoke every day, sometimes more than once a day. I'll always miss her. Zichronah
Yet I want to thank you. Yetta was always texting me over these last couple months, telling me which number was the best one to reach Honey or David at Rose, and with updates. You were always so present, even in California. I also have some words I'd like to share from Rabbi Rachel Safman, who's married to Daniel, Yetta's son. Rachel and I went to rabbinical school together, and she sent these words in deep affection for Honey. She wrote, Honey's power was in her smile, her laugh, and her hugs. She had a way of walking into a room and carrying in her wake this trail of positive energy that simply radiated to every corner of the space. She would work the room, greeting this person whom she knew from serving on a committee, this one whose child was in school with one of Honey's boys, this one who she sat next to on Shabbat mornings, and this one whom she knew from the bagel shop, literally. And she shares, when I came to Denver a few years ago with my family to celebrate the birthday of my mother-in-law, Yetta, who is Honey's older sister, I looked up an old friend who had moved to the area a few years earlier and opened a bagel bakery. When my friend and I met later in the weekend, she played a bit of Jewish geography. Taking my friend's age into account, I reeled off the names of some of my husband Daniel's younger cousins, inquiring as to whether my friend knew them. What shul do they go to? My friend asked. The Alliance, I answered. Oh, then it's unlikely I know them, she said. I don't know many Alliance members. So then I decided to try my Hail Mary play. What about Honey Gesundheit, I asked. Honey, my friend repeated, and then began to describe her to a T. Yes, that's she, I replied. Well, of course I know her. Everyone knows Honey, my friend replied with a huge smile. Because who could mention Honey without smiling? Being with Honey meant smiling. It meant being celebrated just for being you. She loved people on their terms, saw virtues in them many have overlooked. Honey was always available with a helping hand when friends were celebrating simchas, and always around to give a hug in times of challenge. But alas, she tended to keep her own surus to her chest. Indeed, when planning a visit to Denver with our younger son a couple years ago, my husband Daniel was a bit taken aback that Honey was so reserved about suggesting activities or offering to join family gatherings. It was only when Daniel landed and arrived at Honey's house that he realized how severe the medical challenges she was then facing really were. There will inevitably be any number of what ifs surrounding Honey's premature passing. But the real what if that Honey's life challenges everyone who is blessed to know her to ask is, what if each of us really pushed ourselves to be more like Honey, to emulate her warmth and generosity of spirit, to meet misfortune with hope and optimism, to embrace each person we meet as a being created B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. Honey, Rabbi Safman writes, we love you and miss you already terribly, and we extend our deepest condolences to your husband David, your children Isaac and Marcus, and your sister Yetta. Hamakom Yinechem. Now we welcome Eitan Cantor to sing one of her beloved Debbie Friedman songs.
Honey loved and was lit up by Jewish music, and Debbie Friedman was one of the singers who she really loved. And I would invite you, when you go home or when you're ready, to listen to Debbie Friedman's recording of this song, You Turn My Morning Into Dancing, and have a good cry with that song. And Honey also told me that one of the most meaningful Jewish experiences of her life was at the Brandeis Collegiate Institute, where Max Janowski was the music director, and that musical and communal experience stuck with her entire life. So I hope that we can use it as inspiration just to immerse ourselves in Jewish music and Jewish community in Honey's memory. Turn my morning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sing to you, and did not be still. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you, Odeka. Now I sing praises to the Holy One, who lifts me up when I have fallen. And I cry to you to heal me, and you have answered all my prayers. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you, oh that God. I ask that you be gracious and hear me, Adonai. I have called to you to help me. You supported me with joy. You turned my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you. So that my soul sing to you, and did not be still. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you, God.
Now going to work together to perform an important mitzvah, that of Hesed Shel Emet, of true loving kindness, of participating in the burial of our dear Honey. At this time, we will lower the casket, and we invite all those who are able to, after the family, to come up and to bring some soil, like a warm blanket, to help tuck Honey in. This is considered to be such a high mitzvah because it's one in which Honey cannot reciprocate. And so at this time, we'll bring her to her eternal home.
shamayim va'aretz Ezri Ve'im Hashem Oseh shamayim va'aretz.
It's traditional to show our reluctance to do this act, to use the back of the spade, the back of the shovel on the first shovelful, and to put the shovel back in the dirt when one is done, so the next person can join us in completing this mitzvah.
Oseh shalom bimroma Yaseh shalom aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Oseh shalom bimroma Yaseh shalom aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Oseh shalom bimromahu Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromahu Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromahu Yaseh shalom aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Oseh shalom bimromahu Yaseh shalom aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromahu Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromahu Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Yishmat kolecha Yishmat
Conservative in the form.
Oh, okay. Probably not.
Yes, I know.
At this time, I'd like to welcome up Ricky Wedgell to share some words on behalf of Isaac and the family.
Hi everyone, I'm Ricky, Isaac and Marcus's cousin, reading on behalf of Isaac today. These are all of his words. Where do I even start? I feel like I'm preaching to the choir when I say that my mom, Honey, was the most selfless person to walk this earth. Even during times when money was tight, she would not hesitate to give her last $20 bill to a homeless person. She would buy food for homeless people we would pass on the street to make sure they were fed. But more important than that, she always made sure friends and family were taken care of. And she was friends with everyone. Never would it cross her mind that someone wouldn't want to connect with her. And why wouldn't they? She treated people like a friend from the very first interaction. She would always ask caring questions about current events in people's lives, what their friends were up to, what their kids were up to, and constantly share her own stories to relate. She made people feel valued, loved, and always made sure that everyone could be accommodated. She only ever saw the good in people and had only the utmost level of respect and trust for those who she brought into her life, and by extension, into mine. Since her passing, many people have come forward to share some ways that she touched their lives. And I know you all have your own stories to tell about her. It is only now that I realize how much of a pillar of our community she truly was. And I would like to thank you all for being a part of her life in such a significant way. The light in the Denver Jewish community shines a little bit darker today, but may her light shine through in each and every one of you. It brings me both immense joy and immense sorrow to hear all of the unique ways in which she touched your lives. Joy in that each story cements without any doubt how much of a tzaddik she was, and the quality of values which she demonstrated and practiced in her life daily. She's the kind of person I would like to be, and I know I'll fall short. No one can be like her, but I will try. The stories of how she touched your lives also bring me immense sorrow, because each story serves a better reminder that the world lost a truly special woman who I was lucky enough to call my mom. She was so proud to be my brother Marcus's mom, and she took every available opportunity to let us know and to let the world know. She was proud of the entire Wedgell family too, from her nieces and nephews, great nieces and great nephews, to all of the cousins, distant and close. I know she'd be proud of my brother and I for who we are and what we've accomplished, and I will feel her presence with me in every decision I make. I used to call her before every trip I took to run through the checklist of things I need to pack. I'll feel her asking me if I packed enough socks and underwear as I pack for my future rock climbing adventures. And when the answer is yes, I'll pack one more pair of each just in case, because that's what she would suggest. And I'll feel her silent panic and disapproval as I plan each climbing trip, but I'll go on my trips anyways because she would want me to do the things that I love. Mom, wife, sister, daughter, aunt, cousin, friend, whoever she was to you, she was a very important person. May her memory be a blessing for us all.
Amen. Thank you, Ricky, for sharing Isaac's beautiful words. We'll now recite Mourner's Kaddish as the family begins the next stage in this journey of mourning. We invite you to support the family by saying Amen at the appropriate times.
Yikada, Likada, Shemay Rabba, Bialma, Dibra, Rute, Biamlit, Malute, Bechayechon, Ubiomechon, Uchaye, Jehovah, Israel, Bagala, Ubisman, Kari, Bimru, Amen. Yehe, Shmei, Rabba, Miborah, Mamone, Barak, Shabbat, Mitamar, Mitamam, Nase. Itadar, Vitalem, Vitalal, Shirei, Laela, Mikol, Mirchata, Shirata, Tushbachata, Menechemata, Namiran, Bealma. Amen.
Yehi Shalom Rabbi Shalom. V'chaim Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael V'Yru. Oseh Shalom B'Mramav. U'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael V'Yru.
Amen.
We now invite you to rise as you're able to for the El Malay Rachamim.
במעלות הקדושים ודיורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את הנשמת הן יליבה בת יצחק וגיטו שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן ובגן עדן תהי מנוחתה אנא בעל הרחמים הסתירה בסתר גנבך לעולמי וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום נשכבה ונאמר
El Malay Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Hani Wedgel Gesundheit, who is gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. After the funeral service today, we'll continue with Shiva and visitation at the home of Rick Wedgel, 250 Columbine Street, number 502. Visitation today will be from 3 to 8 p.m. and 4 to 8 p.m. tomorrow, and Mincha services will be at 5 p.m. on both days. We invite you to join us after this afternoon. We end our service today with the traditional words of Hamakom Yenechem Ephem V'Chokshar Avalei Tzion Yerushalayim. Hamakom, God is with us. Whenever and wherever needed, may God comfort you and all who have mourned for Zion and Jerusalem. We invite people to make 2 lines. We probably don't need everybody for this moment, or they'll be walking all the way to Aurora. But we invite people to make lines so that we can escort the family in comfort as we say these traditional words.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna make this pathway right here if we can, just down the.
Fortunately, you start like. Sir, do we return these to you?
This does conclude today's virtual service.